role of color in a film is a very important one, not to be underrated. It can really help to emphasize a moment or create an emotional feel or set a tone for a scene. And sometimes it helps to create a character so you understand who he is, if he's a hothead or that sort of thing. You might use red. We use colors to symbolize certain Chinese cultural aspects and different moods and flavors like that.
You want color to play into the emotions of the movie. If you take it too far too soon, then you've got their heart beating too much in the beginning and you've got nowhere to go. So you want to gradually, you know, play up the beats as the movie goes along, and then of course in the climax you're gonna, you're gonna hopefully get their heart beating, maximum capacity. And then at the end of the movie you'll take them down again.
For example, in one sequence, it's a very sad sequence when Mulan makes her decision to go to war instead of her father. And the colors are very subdued, very moody.
And when you're singing your song, Make a Man Out of You, we're just all over the palette in that sequence, and it's a real happy, kind of popping, successful song.
The Chinese artwork tends to be limited in some sense. Where there's some colors that are used because of the cultural issues and because of the time. There was colors that were used for definite reasons and said definite things. And because of that, we were very concerned not to go in the wrong directions with it, because we wanted to reflect that culture, that history. We wanted to really get that across.
For example, when they marry in red, not in white. And that is important for Mulan because we have to use a reddish dress for her when she is going to the matchmaker.
The matchmaker, on the other hand, she wasn't a nice person.
Fa Mulan.
And we accentuated that with a color. Her face makeup was very, I say cheap. And we made her have like this really deep blue eyeshadow and really tchotchke looking cheeks and, all the way. But the fun part was having to come up with something that she thought was classy as far as her outfit. And as you remember, her skirt was like black. And normally black is the slimming color. And she was wearing black, but the trick that we did was the line work on the outside of her dress, we lightened it to make it look like velvet, so there's actually more there than you actually see.
Mushu, in the beginning, I always wanted Mushu to be very childlike in his colors, red, yellow, blue, because those are the three primaries, and that's what children relate to. They keep it basic. You walk into a toy store and it's all red, yellow, blue. And of course we went around and we tried a gold dragon and a green dragon, and I'm glad he came back around. We finally went full circle and we came back and made a fun red, yellow, blue dragon.
When it came to doing the coloring the crowds at the end of the film, we wanted something that was very simple, so it felt like just a sea of people. It was just enough detail that the audience would feel it, a fullness from it, but not over-articulate it.
And my job was to come up with 180 different combinations of colors using 7 colors in the palette so we can do the crowd. And I think after the 50th I was pretty much done. But it looked very convincing. It actually looked like we actually sit there and did each one individually.
The color of Mulan is very important because we use color in so many different ways. It has to get across emotions, emulate emotions that the characters are feeling.
My mom doesn't speak English, and she saw the film in the theater, and she doesn't know a word of English, but she understood the film by just looking at it, because it's a relationship of the characters and the color and the music that actually says a story, even though words are not being understood at that time.
The color in Mulan helped to bring the film to life. It created a landscape. It created the personalities, the rich personalities that you see on the screen. It brought it all the emotions of the film that all came together so that it really communicated a powerful story.